The late Queen's touching statement regarding Catherine was just revealed by Princess Anne. The fact that this letter rendered King Charles speechless suggests that it did not sit well with him. The revelation of the Queen's private thoughts was a moment fraught with emotion and shock. The significance of the message may be puzzling to you. May it have anything to do with unexpectedness or inheritance? Help us uncover the intricacies of this bombshell that could alter the destiny of the monarchy by joining us. An empathetic letter. The royal family as a whole adheres to established customs and unwritten laws. Furthermore, leadership roles are often passed down through families, and one's duty to the people takes precedence above their own feelings at all times. A fresh development, however, has now emerged, something that may alter our expectations for the monarchy's trajectory. A private chat between Queen Elizabeth and her daughter Princess Anne took place just before the latter's death, and Princess Anne has spoken publicly about it. The statement was not made in a public forum. Nothing was committed to paper, no speeches, no royal documents, nothing. A daughter and her mother were simply enjoying some alone time. However, Anne vividly recalls every detail of it. The Queen's unwavering faith shone out most at that moment, more so than her confidence in either King Charles or the next in line, Prince William. Catherine, Princess of Wales, was her confidante instead. Catherine had been under Queen Elizabeth's watchful eye for quite some time. She saw more than simply a member of the royal family's entourage, someone with uncommon qualities like poise, power, and serenity caught her eye. Someone who was reliable and consistent without seeking attention. When all around them is changing, the Queen believes that Catherine is the only one who can keep the royal family unified. The Queen had begun to see how rapidly the world was changing, according to Princess Anne, who had a close relationship with her mother. The monarchy has become an easy target for dissenting opinions. Everyone was starting to doubt everything. Even more so, social media exerted tremendous pressure, and suddenly, the future of the previously impregnable institution was clouded with uncertainty. Queen Elizabeth, I understood that the succession was about more than simply who would wear the crown next. It was also about who could gracefully and wisely carry its significance. She secretly thought Catherine possessed that kind of resilience. Catherine is not the type to be outspoken or demanding of attention. She doesn't make a fuss or shout out for attention. She never makes headlines for the wrong reasons, but she's steady, cool, and friendly whenever you need her. Catherine maintained her concentration through thick and thin, media roaring in the background. Emotions were not allowed to control her. Neither did she publicly react nor argue. On the contrary, she continued with poise and quiet strength, carrying out her regal tasks with grace. It wasn't at a lavish palace function, Princess Anne said, therefore it wasn't fit to be recorded in history books. A genuine emotional chat between two ladies who had witnessed the world's transformation side by side. There were no reporters, cameras, or microphones there. That's the secret of its potency. Truthful and authentic it was. Never in her life did the Queen say those things just to garner attention or make a point. Her case was completely without merit. Princess Anne, her daughter, was the one person she could confide in her deeply, and all she wanted was for someone to discreetly relay her emotions to her. Anne was not asked by the Queen to make it public. She just wanted her to keep the message close to home, guard it, and reveal it only when the time was appropriate, according to her. Furthermore, Princess Anne did not hurry to disclose the facts in order to meet her mother's demand. She patiently awaited the ideal moment, not out of fear, but rather a desire to ensure that everyone would fully get the Queen's meaning. She clung to her mother's words for quite some time. She was concerned that the message could be misunderstood or turned into gossip. She hoped others would listen when the time was right. A lot of changes are happening in the royal family nowadays, and here are a few pieces of evidence that point to Catherine being the one. Royal Catherine's competence has been confirmed. No one seems to have any idea who should be leader, how the royal family can maintain public relations, or if they really belong in this day and age. Princess Catherine of Wales is the pivotal figure in this transformation. Nobody ever asked her to be acknowledged. She keeps to herself. However, it appears that she now possesses something extremely valuable, the succession to the throne. Many were caught unawares when Princess Anne disclosed the Queen's words. Charles himself even reported to have gone speechless upon hearing it, despite having borne the weight of leadership for an extended period of time. Perhaps he also sensed some truth to it, even though he disagreed. He secretly shared the Queen's impression of Catherine. Prince William, the heir apparent to the British monarchy, is also heavily involved. A lot of responsibility is being placed on him as he is being trained for leadership. However, not even he has ever been shy about gushing over Catherine. He has complimented her for her poise and the genuine, kind manner she relates with others. Royalty is more about kindness than titles, so maybe that was the Queen's point. In recent years, Catherine has been the recipient of both compliments and constructive criticism. When compared to other royals, she was noted for her relative lack of official duties. Princess Anne attended nearly 400 royal events in 2023, whereas Catherine attended little over 100. Criticism was swift from some quarters who questioned if Catherine was exerting sufficient effort. But her family and close friends knew the truth. Catherine wasn't evading her duties, thus her schedule wasn't lighter. It was because she made the conscious decision to prioritize her family, spend more time with her children, and tend to her home. Retrenchment was not in her plans. She was preparing herself well for what was to come. She wasn't merely getting herself ready. The future of the royal family was being subtly molded by her. Princess Anne also made another point quite plain. The Queen always thought that being visible in public and making speeches were important parts of her role. There was more to her concept of service than that. She had the beliefs of regularly doing little things, of remaining humble, and of simply showing up without constantly demanding attention. All of that was evident to the Queen in Catherine. For that reason, Anne decided it was a good moment to talk. In a world where everything is happening at a breakneck pace and the royal family is facing challenges they never imagined, her mother's words took on further significance, not as a command, but as a gentle reminder that genuine leadership isn't always assertive. It isn't always daring to wear a crown. To lead effectively, sometimes all it takes is a soft voice, a low profile, and the ability to keep going even when no one is looking. It was well known that the Queen was very careful with her words. Even though she didn't say much, when she did, everyone listened. And now, long after she has passed away, her words continue to guide the royal family like an enduring echoes. However, many remain perplexed as to why Catherine was chosen by the Queen. Additionally, why is Princess Anne endorsing that decision? We need to revisit some traits and personalities that Catherine has maintained from her early years till now, in order to get a whole picture of that. Because it was during Catherine's formative years that the Queen might have noticed anything unique that indicated her readiness for more. Catherine's childhood moments. Catherine Elizabeth Middleton came into this world on January 9, 1982, in Reading's Royal Berkshire Hospital. Her life has been defined by an exquisite blend of tradition and hard work from the start. Her family was well off and respected in Britain, but she didn't spend her childhood in a palace or even wear a crown. Carol Middleton was a former flight attendant, and Michael Middleton was a flight dispatcher. Because her parents were both flight attendants for British Airways, Catherine grew up in a household that valued hard work and self-control. Even if it wasn't royalty, it was elegant and daring. There were prominent members of Catherine's family with ties to British society on her father's side. Noel and Olive Middleton, her great-grandparents, entertained members of the royal family in their house from the 1920s to the 1940s. that elevated her father's family to a position of prominence and brought them into contact with the elite. The side of her mother, however, was completely distinct. She came from a working-class family. Coal miners were among them. Catherine was bestowed with an exquisite harmony as a result of this. She had the social backdrop to one day effortlessly step into royal life, grounded by humble roots. A new development occurred. While Catherine was only 2 years old, her family relocated to Amman, Jordan, in May 1984. Even though moving was a huge adjustment for a little child, she got to experience a whole new culture and lifestyle as a result. She enrolled in an English-speaking preschool when she was a resident there. Those formative experiences helped her become flexible and accepting, traits that would subtly mold her throughout her life, even though her stay was brief. Catherine was 4 years old when the Middletons returned to Berkshire in 1986. She attended the private St. Andrew's School close to Pangbourne when she was back home. She displayed traits of maturity even at an early age. She eventually began boarding part-time as she gained experience and learnt to handle things independently. Something significant occurred in her family in 1987 when she was only 5 years old. Carol, her mother, founded Party Pieces, a little business. It was a business that supplied party goods and decorations through mail order. It wasn't much initially, but the company eventually became rather lucrative. The family was able to live comfortably, and Catherine and her siblings were able to attend prestigious schools because of it. Even more importantly, it taught Catherine the importance of perseverance and the value of developing strong things over time. The Middletons uprooted their lives once again in 1995 and settled in a little town called Bucklebury. Surrounded by nature, it was peaceful. Catherine continued her education and studies there. Marlborough College in Wiltshire was her subsequent school after Downhouse. She truly came into her own at that point. Despite Marlborough being a mixed-gender boarding school, Catherine was the only one who really stood out. Her passion for hockey in particular helped her gain fame. She did more than play on the girls' team. She rose to the position of captain. Her leadership and teamwork skills, honed in that job, would subsequently serve her royal duties with poise and dignity. There was something else remarkable that she accomplished while at Marlborough. It was the Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award that she received. Physical difficulties, helping others, and skill development are all part of the rigorous curriculum. She was becoming the type of person who could earn the prize. Her determination was unwavering. Her concentration was unwavering. She was a team player. Above all else, she maintained her humility. Additionally, Catherine had to undergo a little operation on the left side of her skull around the same time. She always kept it under wraps, even though it was supposed to be for lump removal. Once again demonstrating resilience well beyond her years, she gracefully weathered the storm and got back to her regular life and schoolwork. It takes quiet power, as Catherine demonstrated even as a little kid. From time to time, it only continues, slowly but surely. Maybe it was the Queen's original intent. An elegant woman who could maintain her composure under duress and carry herself with confidence. As the Crown desires a leader who leads from the heart, Catherine had to make a key choice regarding her future once she finished her schooling. Despite the significant opportunity presented by her acceptance to the University of Edinburgh, she decided to take a hiatus from her studies. However, this was not a vacation. During that period, Catherine traveled extensively, developed personally, and faced new problems. It was in Italy that her journey had begun. While she was a student at Florence's British Institute, while there, she did not rest on her laurels for European art and culture. After that, she embarked on a global journey to Chile, where she became a member of the Raleigh International program. This was not a holiday. It required me to learn how to work in a team, in remote areas, assist local communities, and walk in challenging and harsh terrain. She even worked as a deckhand at Southampton's bustling port before matriculating to university. Despite the lack of finesse or elegance, she gracefully completed the hard, physically demanding task. Catherine wasn't someone who shied away from a tough job, as this demonstrated. Quietly strong, she confronted them without grumbling. Sooner or later, Catherine enrolled in classes at Scotland's University of St Andrews. She had originally intended to major in psychology, but after discovering art history, she changed her major to reflect her genuine interests. While she was there, she became a member of the Lumsden Club. This group's members came together to support community service through planning and participating in charitable events. She showed characteristics of the gentle, considerate princess who would grow up to be, even as a student, someone who could juggle her duties with kindness.